Can you imagine dedicating your entire life to perfecting a single move? A punch, a kick, a block, repeated thousands, millions of times until it fuses with your soul. Today you're going to meet a man who did exactly that. A man who not only mastered the art of karate, but reinvented it. His name was Taiji Kase, and his story will surprise you. Martial might, where warriors live forever. It all began in Chiba, Japan, in 1929. Taiji was just a boy when he first stepped onto a tatami. His father, Nobuaki Kase, was no ordinary man, a fifth dan in judo, a true master. It was he who first brought Taiji into a dojo. Before the age of 6, the boy was already throwing judo projections like it was his second language, but he didn't stop there. From a young age, Kase explored other disciplines. Aikido taught him to redirect an opponent's force, posture, spirit. Unknowingly, every martial art he touched became a puzzle piece that would later make his karate truly unique. And then at the age of 15, something happened that would change his life forever. A simple photograph. It was an image of Yoshitaka Funakoshi, the son of the legendary Gichin Funakoshi, founder of Shotokan karate. In that photo, Yoshitaka launched a kick with staggering energy. The posture, the power, the elegance, it shook him. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, and at that moment, he knew his destiny was sealed. He didn't take long to seek out the master in person, and so, as a mere teenager, he began training under Gichin Funakoshi and his son. With one, he learned values and spirit. With the other, fierce technique and real application. It was the perfect combination, a privileged training. And within just a few years, by 1945, he had already achieved first dan in Shotokan karate. But that same year, while polishing his katas, the world was in flames. Japan was living through the final and darkest days of World War II. Like many other young men, Taiji Kase was called to serve. He joined the Air Force, not as an ordinary pilot, but as a kamikaze. He was prepared to sacrifice his life for his country. Fortunately, or by destiny, the war ended before he took off. That averted tragedy marked his spirit and strengthened his resolve to dedicate his life to a different kind of battle, mastering the body, the mind, and inner energy. Returning to civilian life, Kase didn't abandon his passion. He studied economics at Senshu University, but the real importance lay outside the classroom. In 1949, he was named captain of the karate team, and his progress was meteoric. By the time he graduated in 1951, he was already third dan. That same year, Japan took a historic step. The JKA, Japan Karate Association, was born, and Taiji Kase was one of the first to join. Not as a student, but as an instructor. He was part of an elite group, carefully selected to become the messengers of karate to the world, a kind of martial ambassador who would carry the Japanese art of the fist beyond its borders. And indeed, he did. During those years, Kase earned a feared and respected reputation in dojos across Japan. His speed was lightning fast, his precision surgical, and then came a story still told among his students as a living legend. A professional boxer, arrogant and skeptical, challenged him. He wanted to see if karate was really as effective as people claimed. He wanted to test it in real combat. Kase accepted. No ring, no referees, no gloves, just two men face to face. They say it only took one move, an explosive technique, director, subtle, and devastating. The boxer hit the ground, not even understanding what had struck him. There was no rematch, just silence. And from that day on, Taiji Kase's reputation as a true fighter was sealed. He wasn't just a dojo artist. He was a real combatant, one who didn't need to prove anything. But when he did, he left an unforgettable mark. In the late 1960s, the JKA decided to expand globally. Kase was sent to France. Paris would become his new home, his battlefield, and also his martial laboratory. There, what he taught was not just karate. It was something else, a more refined, deeper, more spiritual, and at the same time, more lethal art. His students realized it immediately. Kase didn't teach like the others. He didn't talk about winning tournaments or scoring points. He talked about kai, inner energy. He spoke about moving from the center of the body, about sensing the opponent before they attacked, and above all, he demonstrated, even at over 60 years old, no one could move him. You could push him with all your strength, and he wouldn't budge. He was rooted to the ground, connected, as if his center of gravity came from the very heart of the earth. Kase was much more than a transmitter of what he had learned. He was an untiring innovator. He developed revolutionary concepts like hente and sente, continuous striking with the lead hand to cut down the opponent's reaction time. He also perfected the feared uramawashi geri, a reverse roundhouse kick that landed where no one expected it. Fast, elegant, and powerful. But perhaps his most groundbreaking idea was hente waza, the same hand that blocks, attacks, no pause, no telegraphing, no warnings, one gesture, one moment, one knockout. Kase believed karate was economy of movement, maximum efficiency, minimal exposure, and his techniques embodied that principle perfectly. His understanding of bunkai, the applications of kata, went far beyond the usual. To him, every kata was a book of martial wisdom, full of hidden layers. Unveiling them was like reading between the lines of a real combat story. As the JKA leaned more into competitions and sport karate, Kase distanced himself. He felt that wasn't the path, not for him, not for true karate-do. So he made a bold decision. He walked away, broke ties with the JKA, and founded his own style, Shotokan Ryukase-ha, a refined, profound version, faithful to the original spirit, but elevated by his own genius. This style focused on internal energy, close-range combat, and personal development, more than external glory. To him, the true battle was with yourself. Kase taught that karate was for life, that it wasn't something you did, but something you became, a path with no end, an art to polish the soul. And until his final days, he lived it to the fullest. He traveled constantly around the world, giving seminars across Asia, Europe, and the Americas. Wherever he went, people awaited him with reverence, because they knew that seeing Kase in action was witnessing something special, something unrepeatable. He didn't speak much, no grand speeches, but when he stepped into position, the entire dojo went silent, because you knew you were witnessing something real, something pure. On November 24th, 2004, at the age of 75, Taiji Kase passed away. But his death was not an end. It was a transition, because his legacy didn't end. It lives on in his students, in his books, in his videos, in every dojo where his name is honored. His style, Kase-ha, is still taught around the world. And most importantly, his spirit still breathes in every karateka who seeks something beyond technique. Kase was not just a master. He was a seeker, a revolutionary, a warrior who chose the longest, loneliest path, but also the truest one. Every time someone trains a kata with soul, every time someone launches a tsuki from the hara, every time someone remembers that karate is for life, he is there, invisible, but present, because some warriors never die. They simply transform.